Dungeonborne is a brand new PvPvE game that's very similar to Dark and Darker. Is it a cheap knockoff, or is it the upgrade? Let's have a chat about it. Dark and Darker was a bit of a surprise hit when it came out, using ideas from games like Hunt Showdown and Escape from Tarkov, but in a more medieval setting. Without playing Dungeonborne, you'd probably assume it's the exact same game in a very, very similar experience, but there are a few pluses and negatives about the game that you do have to consider when talking about it. One of the more obvious ones is that it looks like Dark and Darker, but has a budget. I mean, graphically, the worlds and everything look amazing in this game. In fact, I'd argue it's the most standout thing about it. It looks awesome, from the walls to the ground to the background scenery. It all looks really good and very high detail, in my opinion. Whereas in Dark and Darker, kind of looks like shit. It's probably best that we don't have the lights on when playing that game. I just wish we can have the lights on when we have sex next time. The combat system is also seemingly more fleshed out than Dark and Darker. Dark and Darker feels a little rough in just about every area, but it's still really fun. I don't want to go any further without you thinking I don't find Dark and Darker fun. I do. And I will get to issues with Dungeonborne like right now. The hitboxes are straight up weird. Sometimes you'll swing at something, whether it's PvE or PvP, and it doesn't seem to connect. It's almost like you have to be within inches of whatever you're attacking, and maybe that's supposed to be what it is. But it can feel and look weird because your sword is not 1 inch long. On average, a sword is actually about 5.1 inches, unless yours is a little smaller than that, which is totally fine, buddy. You know what they say, it's not about the size, but how you use it. And if you don't hit right on the money, and sometimes even if you do hit right on the money, nothing happens. They don't take any damage. And without health bars or anything, you never really know what kind of trouble you're in. I'm not really complaining about the lack of health bars, but it does make it more difficult to find out how weak whatever you're attacking is. Like when the spawns mess up and you spawn in with a werewolf. Our very first game, we spawned in a room within inches of a werewolf. We left and then immediately had to start fighting this guy. It was very stressful, to say the least. You're already dead. You should get in there. That's lore, baby. Oh my god, you walked in front of me. Watch out for my fireball. Oh, so the longer I charge it does like an extra shot. Oh, insufficient staff energy. I gotta reload. Gotta get some Dragon Balls.
I'm killing him, don't worry. I'm killing him.
What is that? What is that? Did you do that? Did you throw?
That's me. That's me.
Yeah, you fucked me up.
Did I?
Yeah, Cryptic's fucking dead. Oh, look out. For that to be the first experience is crazy. It's only really with the melee weapons. You don't see a lot of Hitreg issues with any of the ranged things in the games, like the crossbows or the staffs. Those seem to work really well for the most part. And with those hitboxes, you can cheese a lot of enemies by just jumping up one level above them. Even if it's like a bed or something and you crouch down to swipe at them, you can confuse the hell out of them. You could do this so easily that some bosses get tricked with it. And every enemy has tunnel vision, so whatever they want to kill, they will ignore everything else attacking it. Bro, what is bro's health right now, dude? See if there's a better sword in here. I'm done.
Oh my... Crippy.
Are you kidding me?
Dumb, buddy.
Which is why the AI is kind of dumb. Kind of dumb is an understatement. The AI is very dumb, but they're mostly just fodder for you to mow down until you can actually get into a PvP altercation, which surprisingly doesn't happen all that much. You could probably play this game in the shadows and just loot and build up your gear as much as you want without seeing anybody if you're really smart about it. Our first hour, I don't think we got into one fight, and the game has a pretty healthy population of around 20,000 at all times. I think I know where the lack of finding players issue is coming from. If you've ever played Pokemon Unite, it prioritizes getting you into a game more than it prioritizes having a fair and fun match with good ping and everything. I think this game is aiming to do the same. It doesn't matter how many people are in there, and often it's just one team of 3 versus another team of 3 because it just wants to put you in a match.
I got a fresh boner.
What the fuck did you say out loud? That's nice to keep playing, but also I kind of like the PvP side of things because the PvE can get stale really quickly with the lousy AI. However, the bosses can be fun to fight when you're with your boys, so that's appreciated. Besides not getting into a lot of PvP fights after the 5 or 6 hours that we played already, the combat's really good. It feels really sharp outside of that and the hitboxes.
Holy shit!
Oh my god.
Holy shit!
Get over here. Get over here.
Probably the biggest plus about this game when compared to Dark and Darker is the fact that everything is unlocked for you. Once you start the game, you can play with any class. It really tries to push the microtransactions and like skins and everything. Although I did notice there's no insurance like Escape from Tarkov has that stops you from losing your loot if you die. It's definitely a bit of a skill issue, but for me with games like this, when I die too many times in a row, I just don't want to play again for a couple of weeks, and that's kind of disheartening. One of my homies said that you have to get the heirlooms, but they also said that it costs money to do so, and I haven't bothered to go check if it does. Maybe I'll just do that right now and show you real quick. Let's take a look here at heirlooms, whatever this is. After unlocking heirlooms, you can repeatedly craft heirloom equipment at the blacksmith and bring it into your adventures. Crafting heirlooms only costs a small amount of ore materials. Ore materials can be obtained by dismantling unwanted equipment and can be used for unlocking, upgrading, and crafting heirlooms. Heirlooms are divided into 3 categories: weapon, armor, and accessories. You can craft and bring one item in from each category into your adventures. Sorry, I stroked out there. I mean, it's fucking late, dude. Blue, rough white iron, and this. Would you like to dismantle equipment? So we get blue from that. It looks like I was given some wrong information. It's a good thing I didn't say the guy's name, because if I did, I tell you what, Scar would have been really disappointed. Moving on from that, I do wish there was a little bit more variety in the weapons, and that's something they can add over time. There's only 2 magical staffs in the game, and they're alright, but eventually I just moved over to someone who could use a crossbow because it seemed to work a little better for ranged combat. I only have a few hours in Dark and Darker, so I'm not sure what the weapon variety is like there. It didn't matter much to me because I was more focused on learning than I was about variety. Not enough space will change it with the current pants that I have that suck balls.
You have to drop your pants.
Excuse me? In Dungeonborne, there's little gameplay mechanics that are kind of hidden throughout the game. Like, you can go to these, like, corrupted seals that will send you to what we were calling hell. Just do it. Just do it.
Wait, no,
Go
that
in
might
it.
be the hell portal.
No, go in it. Go in it.
That might be the hell portal, bro.
What the hell's a hell portal?
It's hell. It's
Oh
hell.
my
it's hell.
God.
Fuck.
It's really scary stuff, and it seems like you have to kill a Wendigo to even get out of there, or you just never get to leave. We only tried it once because it was, frankly, too scary.
What the fuck? Someone take my hand.
On top of that, the game makes it very easy to survive a match. The portals start to pop up, and they pop up freaking everywhere. Usually around some PvE enemies, but you could just mow them down unless it's like a werewolf or a cyclops or something. There's also Fortnite gas in the game, which is something I've never seen in Dark and Darker, although it could be in one of the paid modes, like the high gambling mode or whatever it's called. It's probably my biggest knock on Dark and Darker is that you have to pay to play most of the game when this game is willing to just give it all to you for free. But if anything, it might incentivize Dark and Darker to do more, be more competitive, and add more things to make the game more fun. At this point, it's all about being the most creative because both games have a pretty similar template. So clearly I like Dungeonborne much more than Dark and Darker, and I plan to play it over Dark and Darker. But that's not the same for every gamer out there. A lot of gamers get comfortable and they want to stick to their home base, and it's hard for them to move on to something that may even be a little bit better than what they've had. A perfect example is Phasmophobia. Phasmophobia is a fun game and it's still relatively popular on Steam, and it's a great party game with friends. But about a year or so later, we got Demonologist, which I would argue is just an improved version of Phasmophobia. Prove it to me. Maya Gould? Maya Gould, if you're here, blow out this candle. Go ahead. But it never caught heat. Nobody ever seemed to care about it or play about it. It had nicer graphics, it had more to do. Didn't matter. Hell, you could kill the demons in Demonologist, which is crazy because in Phasmophobia, you were more just bait than anything. Prey, really. Knock, you queef knocker, you titty fucker, you cock goblin, you...
Get liquor, cocksucker.
You... Oh, God. You lit liquor. Oh, yeah, dude. Well, I don't know. But that could be
Suck those
poltergeist.
doors.
I don't know. I don't know.
Dick liquor.
So even if Dungeonborne is a better experience than Dark and Darker, and many people might agree to that, it doesn't mean much in the long run. What it'll take to really overthrow Dark and Darker is them pushing out great content. Or maybe it doesn't even need to overthrow Dark and Darker. They can both exist, and you can have one pie or you can have cake. Or really, they're both pie. They're just different flavors of pie, but they're not different flavors of pie. One's like an apple, and one's like an apple with some brown sugar or something on top of it, like a crumble on there. They're incredibly similar. This might be controversial, but I'm gonna lock in that Dungeonborne is the upgrade to Dark and Darker. That doesn't mean it's gonna be super successful, and that doesn't mean Dark and Darker is gonna start losing player numbers. I've already said that 1,000 times. What's another thing I've said 1,000 times? Oh yeah, bye.
I see shadow.
Are you guys running around? Are you guys running around?
No, I'm crouched behind.
Ah, he's in that
Oh,
fucking like building
God damn it,
thing.
Dalton.
Yeah.
I just asked if you guys running around.
He said
I
no.
just killed
Benny said no. You killed
I'm
me.
inside. Yeah, I did.